Like, genuinely, I'm not gonna lie. I think if I was a weaker person, I don't know if I would be here today. Like, I have survived through life on sheer willpower and just spite to keep on living because people tell me I'm not allowed to. That's basically it. Yeah, I mean, like, I've mentioned this multiple times, but like, I wasn't supposed to live past 25. When I was, from the years of when I was 9 to 13, they were really unsure if I was even going to make it into like, even into teenage years, like without like intensive support. Like there was a very good chance that I was going to be just in the ICU for, you know, supportive care for the rest of my life. And yet here I am, you know? And yet here I am. Fucking beat the odds. But you made it to 60 is crazy. I'm not 60 years old. You got a therapist? I do have a therapist. Yeah, boys, I've been through I've actually literally been through hell and black. Hell and black. Sorry, I can't speak English today for some reason. Yeah, I mean, like, there was a running joke for a while, even amongst my friends, that I had died and come back to life. Because I don't know if you guys know what SVTs are, but SVTs are supraventricular tachycardia. Sorry, supraventricular tachycardia. I realize I just said that like a rap god, but basically what happens with those is your heart's electrical system goes out of whack. And it causes your heart to beat really, really fast in order to try to like get it back into rhythm. This isn't the first time you come back to life. No, I've come back to life 4 times in my life. 4 times. So what happens with SVTs is typically when people have SVTs, they can usually resolve it on their own. It's like not a big deal because it typically just like fixes itself if it's not too big of a, you know, issue. But some people like me, I can't resolve it on my own. Like no matter what I do, I can do a Valsalva maneuver. I can, you know, like do breathing exercises. It doesn't resolve on its own. So I need to go to the hospital and get a dosage of adenosine. Adenosine is a naturally occurring chemical in your body, but the reason why they can only administer it in the hospital is because it basically kills you for a millisecond. I know that sounds really scary, but what it does is that it stops your heart completely for a fraction of a second, and then it reboots it back up. And the reason why it does that is because adenosine has a really, really short half-life. So it metabolizes really, really fast, which causes it to basically act really fast and immediately process out of your body. But what happens during that time that it is metabolizing is that it stops your heart completely. And one time, the nurse who was administering my adenosine gave me a little bit too much. And let's just say that the feeling of death started settling in. Like, when your heart stops... Oh, by the way, you're fully conscious for this. Like, I'm fully aware of my heart stopping when this happens. And my heart stopped for a little bit longer than a second, and it was really scary because I was fully conscious for it, and I started feeling that sense of dread. Like, I started feeling, oh god, I'm gonna die. And it was terrifying. But after the fact, you know, we joked around about it, and we were like, haha. Yeah, so the white light, you know? What did it physically feel like? It's kind of hard to describe, but you can physically feel like your toes and your fingers getting cold, and then you start getting this like tingly sensation, where it's like, it's almost like you're, like, you know when you sit on the toilet for too long and you go numb? It's kind of like that, but imagine that like almost in your brain, if that makes sense. And you start feeling this like indescribable dread. Like you start feeling like, oh my god, something terrible is gonna happen. It's terrifying, dude. It's genuinely scary. Like I wouldn't wish that experience on anyone. And thankfully, I don't have to experience it often. I haven't had an SVT episode in, god, I think like 5 years now at this point. So fingers crossed that, you know, I don't have one anytime soon. Like I joke around about it because it's like humor is a coping mechanism, you know what I mean? But like during the moment, I was scared to death, you know? I genuinely felt like this was the end, you know? This was like, I was like, it's fucking over, you know? I'm fucking dead.